this is weird. So, okay, they changed OBS. So if I press go live, is that going to make it work? It does. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, they changed the layout on YouTube Studio to where you got to do it differently now, but I figured it out last time, and it's still weird this time because it's different. But we're live, just so yeah, okay, we're live. Yeah, that's.
Well, I was hoping Paradox could do that.
What a perfect way to join. Well, Paradox, are you going to answer the man?
Answer who?
Well, Kamui.
Kamui said something? Do I have... Oh, yeah, I have him muted. Oh, oopsies.
Why?
It's
Yeah,
when
don't worry.
your microphone...
I can't blame you. I do it all the time.
No, it's from when your microphone wasn't working. I've been on the podcast that long.
Oh, no, it's probably the StreamYard situation where, like, we had to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Oh my gosh. Well, Tom, we have a lot to say tonight and not a lot of time to do it.
What's the hurry?
He has to go to bed.
Yeah, technically, I should.
Yeah, I'm school in the morning, so I can only stay up till like 10.
Well,
maybe 10:30 at the latest.
All on the same page.
That explains that. Well, with that being said, I made it an Eida title with the Kawaki thumbnail, so I'm assuming that's what we were gonna do. Okay, perfect. So
I was about to say it's the plan.
Okay, so did you want to start with one of your Eida topics, or should I?
You start just because I'm doing something at the moment. That would probably make sense to do it that order.
Okay, well, that's less convenient.
Mine's also very long. So.
Well, okay, Kamui, you say that as if mine isn't 4 total long messages.
Where did you post it?
The like a few weeks ago, or like the other week, if you remember. You responded to some of it.
Mine's also similarly long, so I guess.
Yeah, well, we could do the messages that I went back and forth with that I posted the pictures of today and the Boruto topics, but I figured we would do that for like Wait, what?
Let's do the Eida stuff, I would say.
Eida, okay, yeah. Because it's technically related, but not really because of Damon stuff. So okay, I have to do it the stupid way, where I have to do
That's good for like a sneak peek.
And that's what I was thinking as well. That's why I was gonna say I want to save it for that. But anyways, let me go to Eida and Boruto topics, and I'll just, screw it. I'm just gonna scroll down. We have 4 pages of Eida. We have 77 Eida topics, by the way. Well, okay. So do we just want to? How do we want to do this? Because there's a lot of current Eida topics, but we could also just go from the beginning of Eida topics.
Start with the most passionate, or you can do like a ramp.
Okay, you know what? Here, I'll just not do that, and I'll just go to my 1 of 4. So basically, I think that's the best way to do this, is that I do my long Eida topic, and you do your long Eida topic, and then we're just going to do 2 topics for this total stream, just 1 each.
Yeah, unless we happen to have time for 1 more short one, but yeah, something like that.
Okay. Probably something we should have decided before stream, but hey, it's fun to do it live! Okay, well, with that...
It's the only way we'll ever do it anyway, so...
You're not wrong. But with that being said, the first Eida topic is going to be, well, that's 1, 2, and 3, but that's not.
Let me see when the next Boruto chapter is coming out.
Here we go. Well, probably in like a week from now.
The same. It's usually
in 11 days.
Probably at the usual time.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen. I'm on the topic. As long as it took me to find it. So, again, in case you haven't seen the title and thumbnail, Kamui, since I'm sharing my screen, can I not view it?
I can't see your screen right now, but I'll.
Okay, well, yeah, we're all a mess tonight, I guess. Anyway, I guess I'll just start the topic. So this is relevant to the title and thumbnail, which is kind of subconsciously why I chose it consciously. But, so, okay, so again, it's written as a 1 out of 3 because I hit the text limit 4 times.
How much yapping were you doing? You wrote like
Well,
6,000 words.
Let's find out. This was also Kamui that one time. So this was 9/19 when I wrote this. This was that one time when I messaged you and be like, yeah, you remember when I berated you for writing long video scripts as topics? Yeah, well, I did that like way worse than you.
Oh my god, you actually made that the thumbnail.
Yes, I did.
Wait, should I redraw it?
I mean, I like it being goofy for the thumbnail since it's Eida being ridiculous, but you get the point. So, starting off, I feel like Eida doesn't feel like the divine being she was introduced as. You know, the she who knows everything kind of deal. It's like Kaguya's she of the beginning or the progenitor of chakra phrase. It's like her catchphrase of divinity, godhood, status, blah, blah, blah. For a cyborg stronger than Jigen. You know, Jigen, the guy who was presented as that god, literally, not 6 paths, but 8 paths character. Yeah, that guy. So, the cyborg stronger than that guy, who definitely came across as such in the code arc. She keeps that cool consistency as she stays in Boro's hideout, attempting to kidnap Kawaki via code, uncaring and indifferent about the lives of the people like Naruto. You know, the powerhouse of the series up to that point. The main character, Naruto. She's indifferent to Naruto's well-being or life in general. So, like easily brushing off Delta's attack going into the prophecy arc or code arc, whatever you want to consider, and getting rid of Code, hating Amado. There was just so much there to her character. So, some cracks started to form when she got on the train and viewed Boruto as dreamy and started blushing. But that's not a big deal. That's again, there's nothing wrong with that.
To be fair,
at that point.
Dreamy Boruto was earlier. That's code arc, but Dreamy.
No, I know. But still. And what I'm more so mean is like the blushing stuff, but either way.
Pedophile.
Like, she says she's gonna die before she gets to Leaf Village because they're telling them about how she likes Kawaki.
Yeah, but that's different. It felt different because it was extreme on the train.
No, I'm just trying to confirm which scenes you're referring to because, like, for example, I'll give you a comparison and contrast. When she tells Code that she likes Kawaki, it's much more like she's cool-headed and is the sincere, like, oh, my heart fluttered, I felt amazing, blah, blah, blah. But then when she tells Shikamaru, she's all blushy and girly and so on.
Yeah, so it'd be more along the lines of that. It was just on the trade is where it was it was the most extreme example of it up to that point. Because otherwise, especially when she's talking to Code, she might just be like, oh yeah, and if you do that, I'm gonna die. As she's basically playing like a metaphorical chessboard while drinking alcohol with Code. Code, the guy who's supposed to be like the strongest member of Kara, who can kill Naruto. And she's playing this like chess match with him as a pawn even. It's like crazy. But either way, Eida, her importance as a character, but it only added to her character as like a goofy little quirk that adds humanity to the character. And that's similar to Kaguya. I would also say that's similar to Orochimaru. Later on, they sort of just changed him entirely just to be a goofy character. He's still like horrifying, but like his horror isn't scary. It's goofy now. But like this isn't the same thing. I would say like a similarity would be like maybe Orochimaru licking blood in like the Forest of Death. Like anytime he like licks a kunai, right? He does that a lot. So that's just a random example. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like in the prophecy arc, so going out of the code arc, going in the prophecy arc, Eida had the plot of the arc center around her, basically. keeping her the focal point with the room sharing mission. And again, I'm specifying the plot, not the story, not the themes, but the plot. The plot was centered around Eida. Reminding the audience that Eida is dangerous, so don't get used to her. Don't let the girly talk fool you. She can effortlessly take over the world if she wants to. The audience needed to be reminded of that by Shikamaru, who had his hand forced to take an Eida. So Sarada and Sumere's pillow talk with Eida, with Eida's intelligence even, it's like she's sniffing out their immunity along with Shikamaru's concocted reactionary plan to assassinate Eida. Like, it's the way she's looking at them wide-eyed. Again, I think I've said this in the past, it reminds me of when L tells Light that he's L. And the way that L looks at him, just to see his reaction. Exactly. That's what it feels like Eida's doing.
Hit me out on L.
Actually, I don't want to overly segue to this, but I'm glad you're mentioning that, because based off this chapter, so what Eida says is, you guys shouldn't be able to talk about liking Boruto in my presence. And she's saying that basically proves you're immune. But you go back to chapter 76, they were doomed from the get-go, because Eida asked Sarada, what do you think about Boruto? So she was asking her from the get. Of course, Sarada just was like, I don't know. I love you. But because she was acting. But you look what Eida does. She asked that question and then she looks at her, which makes you wonder, Eida probably doesn't fully understand exactly her feelings on this matter yet. But you could argue subconsciously that's her wanting them to be friends and almost testing it. She might not be able to say, oh, she's strategically doing the L trick on it. But she was testing it and checking.
Exactly. At least. And balancing off of that, it's also the fact that at literally no point ever, at least up to this point, I'd argue ever, have we ever seen Eida feel worried. Not in a serious kind of way, just in a way that it might set her back a little bit. But and again, the girly thing, I'm not going to count that as anything. For the most part, she's only eluded confidence, but not in a Rock Lee kind of way. More in a Jigen kind of way, as he just sits calmly in his chair with his hand, his fist in his face or whatever. Doing that cool sit, the Boruto sit from chapter 25 or whatever. He's just sitting there calm, because he knows at any point, if he wants to start trying, he's going to instantly win and get his way. Eida has never been pushed because she's just that confident, because she knows how strong she is, that nothing can go wrong to her because of who she is.
You could argue a little bit of worry in a couple spots, that being when Kawaki almost seemingly died because Code pulled out Damon.
That's why I hesitated to say that, but I don't think she was worried per se.
Worried about Kawaki there's a couple scenes like that, or when another one, say she's worried, but when berated by Momoshiki, she just starts screaming Code, are you okay? And that's probably not because she's the best friends with Code, but more so Code's utility for getting Kawaki that she's seeing. But you could argue for a couple moments like that.
I wouldn't argue that's worry. I would argue it's concern or annoyance that Code isn't going to do his job.
I think concern might be my favorite choice.
Yeah.
In all those cases, she's concerned, but not necessarily freaking out worried. The same way that you could say she was worried when Kawaki was being cornered by the village before she does. It's
because it feels like it's more about her quote unquote worry would come from Code's choice or lack thereof rather than his power. Because, even then, Code could just get away whenever he wants. They have an alliance. It's not like Sakura's worry for Sasuke at any point. Especially during the Gaara fight, as a random example. Considering they're fighting Gaara, someone way stronger than them.
It's exactly the same, because she doesn't like Code the same way.
Exactly. So that's kind of how I would describe it there.
The maximum points.
Yeah, but again, it feels almost like Jigen, where if Jigen went to Kawaki, which he can do at literally any point, he would just instantly win.
Yeah, I would say it's not like when Ishii someone. It's not like that. Which is obviously a clear contrast with Jigen's behavior versus.
Yeah, And then you have the other half of Eida with Damon, and then they have everything with Damon as a character himself, but like specifically with Eida with Damon. It's the night thing, they have that with Code, but more specifically, they have like the abilities. Oh, Damon, don't reveal your abilities to him. That also can go doubly for Eida, who, knowing that knowledge, wouldn't do that in the first place, but is warning Damon. So Eida might have more abilities that we don't know about, or intelligently is keeping them hidden from Code, etc., etc.
We'll quickly.
You're cutting out, by the way.
What?
Is he cutting out for you too, Paradox?
Yeah, both tweaking.
Okay, I'm glad it's not me this time.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Yeah, but like, is it still doing it?
You're good now.
So we're not gonna harp on this for long, but so whereas I want what you said to be true, just to remind the people who might not have heard this before, those extra abilities she was referring to, as far as Eida goes, might just be her flying.
Yeah, no, but that's getting into what the overarching point of this is that I haven't even begun to do yet. When that was revealed, at that time, that applied. As the series has gone on...
That's what you're going to say, because if it's not what you're going to say, then it's just additional material. What does Amado say when that's revealed? Oh, the Otsutsuki do that. He's basically... I mean, they don't do this in the end, but he's basically saying, she's Otsutsuki.
Yeah, well, even... I'm glad you mentioned Amado, because going back to the Code arc, when Eida first shows up, I guess technically after the Code arc, if you want to consider it that, he's freaking out unlike anything we've ever seen before. And this is Amado, the cool, calm, collected guy that didn't even care when Ishiki invaded the village looking for him. This is it's Amado, the guy who betrayed Jigen, who's going to destroy the world. It's like Amado's freaking out about Eida. And Eida's stopping Code Swing from killing Amado without even lifting a single finger. It's almost like Eida's name itself means power. Shout out Madara. It's crazy the way that she is. Yes, I know that that's technically the love charm, but it alludes something greater than just that.
Yeah, that honestly,
through her aura.
That's the thing. So I understand her love charm is powerful and blah, blah, blah with that, but not gonna lie, as it stands, so this is assuming no new information about Amado, like whether he secretly knew all along she actually had omnipotence, not just the love charm, or he's secretly immune, his word being exposed, blah, blah, blah. Just going with what's been presented, assuming no secret lore with Amado. It kind of feels like a false gun. It's not, but it feels like one in the sense that it really felt like Amado's fear was worth more than just that love charm.
And what you're saying right there...
was more, he was afraid of something specific that she could do. It wasn't about him being charmed. It was about, what is Eida gonna do that's gonna ruin everything for me? That's how it feels, because Amado's fear, it was beyond anything we've seen. The closest you got was him freaking out when Ishiki summoned Kawaki, and even that, he wasn't shaking in his boots the same way. So, but that's the closest you got, and obviously that would ruin everything for Amado. It feels like it was gonna be a big deal. Because honestly, even to this day, I still don't... If Amado didn't want to remove Code's limiters, it was to like he was indifferent. Like, he barely didn't want it. He didn't care. He did not mind doing it.
Exactly.
I still feel like he secretly wanted to do it all along because it was going to help his plan. But he was not worried about having to remove Code's limiters. Oh, God forbid I do that. He didn't give a shit. He was perfectly fine with doing it, whether Eida joined him or not. That's not why he was afraid. He wasn't afraid that, oh no, Shikamaru's gonna die. You know, the guy who just hounded my ass 2 minutes ago. That's not why he was afraid. He was either afraid because Eida specifically wants to kill Amado, something he's never addressed. In fact, it's not why he was afraid, because he literally was surprised when Eida threatened to kill him later on. And the train ride scene, or right before that, when she's like, hey, if you don't set me up with Kawaki, I'm gonna kill you. He's like, what? So, doesn't seem like that's why. There is something more, and we haven't gotten it. They have not brought it up. They haven't even brought up Eida and Amado once since then. It feels like a false gun. I'm not saying it
But-
technically could be the most true, but it feels like it's something that went nowhere. A setup that was never paid off. That's assuming they don't reveal secret Amado stuff that's again explained after fact. But so far.
So I'm going to continue dancing around the point of this until I get to it later on. But what you're saying hits the nail on the hammer. Exactly that. Because when they first introduced Eida, and ever since they've gone further and further into the story, they've sort of strayed away from this larger-than-life idea. Because they're not only getting literally further away from it in terms of chapters, we're getting away from it, but they aren't even adding new additional things like they were doing back then. It wasn't just one thing, it was multiple things stacked on top of one another, right, one after the other, building Eida up as this great figure that they haven't come back to and they haven't done any more since. But again, we'll get back to it later. In terms of the Amado thing, I like the way you say that. For the story, Code unlocking his limiters was like the thing. It was the thing of importance. It was like importance level 10 out of 10. But for Amado, it felt like it's almost like a 3 out of 10, or like he's like moving upon to where at the end of the day, it's ultimately not going to matter. This isn't going to make a difference for Amado one way or the other.
It's only good. It's either doesn't matter or it's what he wanted all along. Like
exactly. So if like the decision to remove Code's limiters, which should be the most important thing in the story, is like a 3 out of 10, then Eida is that 10 out of 10. Or more realistically, Code removing his limiters for our main characters, for the cast, that is 10 out of 10 importance. Eida, in comparison to that, is like a 100 out of 10. And that's just her mere existence on the chessboard itself, regardless if she makes a move or not. Her mere existence as the queen on the board, rather than a pawn, is making moves, regardless of which way she moves. That's going to change everything, with even the slightest moves she could make, is what it feels like.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming, because I remember reading this way back, but I don't remember everything to say. It doesn't feel like, I mean, whereas technically in universe, it should be the same. Both plot and story-wise, it doesn't feel like that's the case now. Partly because Eida just isn't doing much of anything, and that definitely does play a role. But it feels like, what could she do besides send Damon? That's really the thing that she can obviously do that influences everything. But aside from Damon, what really can she do to change everything? I guess she can betray Sarada and Sumire for betraying her and kill them, and that ruins Koji's plans. But other than that, like, what is she really gonna do that changes the landmark of everything at this point? She can undo omnipotence. What's that gonna do? Oh, they're gonna go after Kawaki. The fucking elders can't kill this Kawaki anyway. The only thing that's gonna possibly do is make Kawaki destroy the village per the flash forward scene. And I guess that would be a big deal. But then I don't feel like they want to undo omnipotence that early. I don't know. But I'm kind of just saying things at this point. But
well, I mean, I'll just continue real quick. Is that just adding more things that Eida has done? Amado's backstory with Akabi or whatever. Eida, it's so still to this day, still mysterious what Eida saw, what she did or isn't confirming, why she doesn't want to confirm more or check or whatever.
The way she says certain things, like, well, at the very least, that part of his story is true.
And maybe this is
being an ordinary girl.
Maybe this is just me, but I'm still a little bit sus on the fact that Eida was apparently allegedly born 16 years ago and can't see before then with her Senrigan. Not saying that it isn't true. They don't even have to address it, and if they don't, then I guess it just is true. But I'm gonna just, at least for now, keep my eye on that because it feels
real quick.
She's not aging.
Both agree and disagree. Because in light of, I know you loved my theory on this, the whole Eida and Damon not aging thing, assuming they actually aren't aging and isn't just like a very subtle age difference.
Exactly.
Assuming they're actually just not aging. Yeah. It's because Eida is like stuck in the like she just can't move on, basically doesn't want, she hasn't grown up, she doesn't want it, blah, blah, blah. And then Damon, she wants Damon to stay her little brother so he doesn't age, blah, blah, blah. You remember the whole thing. Assuming that's true, then she could technically be like 32 and should be able to see 32 years in the past. But maybe because of
Pedophile.
omnipotence, because she stagnated her growth, even though she was born 16 years ago, the way it works, and this contradicts what they say, I'm pretty sure, but it could be the thing is, well, she is 16, despite being born 32 years ago. So she can continuously only see 16 years in the past, which is stupid. But, like, it could be, like, so, like, 5 years from now, she won't be able to see Akabi's death because it's been too long, kind of thing. But I think the way they say is she can't see before she was born, which would just ruin that. So that would just mean she's lying. Or Amado's lying, because I think he's the one who said 16.
Yeah. I mean, Amado definitely could. And the
but
fact
she did
that
tell Code not to ask how long ago she was born, which would work really well. They just didn't include the Amado line.
I agree.
And Amado could just be wrong. Maybe she felt like she was 16.
Well, I mean, Amado's been wrong on Eida a couple times, but that's another thing. The fact that Eida's so close relationship dynamic-wise with Amado, who is also sus, that just adds further to her mystique, just through the connection.
Around each other, together with each other.
Exactly, yeah. So, I'll also add, we start getting the introduction to the Shinjutsu through Amado, these higher powers, it's the ninjutsu's the watered down version of it. Oh yeah, Naruto, the powerhouse of the world. He's actually he's the powerhouse of the cell, more like it.
He's the mitochondria.
Yeah, so some of the Shinjutsu, obviously Eida's weary of that, or at least Momoshiki's weary of that in terms of Eida, because the love charm isn't a Shinjutsu. I wonder what it is. Obviously, we get the reveal at the end of part 1. It is omnipotence, but beyond that, she has the love charm kind of separate from that, but also the same thing as that. Oh, did you know that omnipotence has been cast in the past as well? But more importantly, looking at the Senrigan, which I think is also, if not omnipotence, it's another Shinjutsu. That one is
confirmed to be a Shinjutsu.
It's confirmed, you said?
Yeah, Momoshiki says that is in that same chapter.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
Well, he says the Senrigan clairvoyance, so it'd be like the Sharingan's not a Shinjutsu, but the Amaterasu would be like the comparison.
Yeah, I got you. What I was going to say about that. Well, he was making an analogy, but going with that though, it regardless of how the ability works, because the camera analogy, blah blah blah, the security cameras all around the world. What I'm more interested in is the fact that Eida's bored as she watches Shinobi history, the most important things of all time that are happening, and she's almost indifferent. She's watching it while in her test tube chamber cryostasis freeze pod, seemingly just to pass the time. And again, she's just watching it because she's bored. When she was freed, she wasn't thankful to Code or anything. She was, I guess she was technically gracious a little bit, but she wasn't on her knees thank you, Code. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's been so long. It's she didn't even care that she came out. But it's not that she's like Shikamaru to where she's lazy, to where she doesn't care. Eida does care. It's just the way she goes about it with her calm demeanor that changes everything. That's who Eida is.
Yeah.
But anyway, so continuing with my thing here. Oh yeah, so obviously, finally the big reveal. She wields the power of an almighty god, the Shinjutsu of Shinjutsu with omnipotence. But going back to my point, Two Blue Vortex Eida has lost practically all of this in terms of practicality. Again, she was introduced as this higher being, higher power, mystical, mysterious, aura, cool character. And that's not to say that I need her to have mystery or intrigue and they just can't explain her things. I'm not saying the Senrigan is less cool because now I know how it functions. I'm fine with learning things, but I need there to be more than just that, if that makes sense. So, as an example, Haku, I love my bad omens. Haku didn't use a jutsu to know that Zabuza was about to die. He just knew. Sakura, it's not because she's intelligent that she knew Sasuke was about to leave the village. She looked up at the moon and felt the wind. When the Nine Tails, on the night of its attack, Kakashi, Guy, and Itachi, and whoever else that felt the bad, ominous, wind, cold presence, that's not a mechanic in universe. You know, Tamari's teacup. I'm getting away from the point because it's about the characters. I want, like...
I know you love your omens.
I love my omens. I want Eida... I don't... Like, obviously it doesn't make sense to explain it as she controls that or something like that, but I want her to have something like that to where it's that she's just so good at being a creature, a life form, a human being, in a way, to where she can do stuff like that. Like, that's what I want her to be doing when she stops Code from killing Amado. It's just her tone of voice that stopped Code. Not that she was doing anything, just that she can do that. Just on her own. Screw it, why not? It's kind of like Meruem, but just if Meruem just wasn't using Nen from Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. But I mean, like, to be fair though, I know when they start doing the goofiness of the love charm pretty excessively when she's in the village the second time, and you know, after the train ride, it takes. So when she shows up, just to make a comparison, you're mentioning Meruem. When Eida shows up in the Code Arc, chapter 69, and walks into that room, it gives you that kind of like Meruem vibes of when Meruem walks into a room. Like, you know, he, like, it just like,
exactly.
It's like, oh, like, it gives you that vibe. Whereas when she comes the second time around, it's almost like a goofy thing. Just, it's not like, oh, we are so screwed. It's more just like, yeah, you're so hot. Like, you know, it gives a different tone.
Exactly.
Fundamentally, it's for the exact same reason. But instead of Amado shaking his boots with fear, Shikamaru confused, being unable to do anything, it's turned into a humor thing. And it's not to say that it wasn't funny. Like, I thought it was funny when they did what they did in many of those scenes. But it does change the tone of what you feel when you're in her presence. So, like, for example, when Jigen, the best comparison, when Eida walks in, Ko pulls Eida out the claw mark in chapter 69, what is that most compared to? You probably heard people mention it back in the day. When Jigen came out of Kawaki's karma seal in Naruto's house.
I was going to make that comparison.
Vibe. Imagine if when Jigen showed up, when Ishiki shows up in the village 10 chapters later, everyone's just giggling and it's all a meme, you know, it's just like, it changes the tone. Now, Eida's not being antagonistic whatsoever in the prophecy arc. She's coming as an ally, so there is reason to do what he did. And I'm not saying it's inherently bad or inherently good. I'm just saying there is that difference of tone.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it changes more than just the tone. Even ignoring the character's reaction, Eida's presence alone changes the dynamic of whatever scene she's walking into, at least back in the day. Because whatever context was going on.
She's just there in many cases. The only time it doesn't, I'm sorry to cut you off. The only time it doesn't feel that way specifically are the Sarada Sumire scenes, and exclusively the Sarada Sumire scenes. Every other scene, Eida being there or not there, literally changes nothing. She's basically exposition. She's either there to tell the audience what she's seeing, even though we got to see it too, it's recap, or to have a brief conversation. Okay, the exception would be the narrative conversation with Mitsuki. That's none of those things. It's not about her presence. It's not about her being recapped. That just is a conversation. That's the exception. But for the most part, when she's around Sara and Sumire, it's tense because, they could be exposed at any point, and they're doing, Sara and Sumire things at the same time. But and that's the exception. How many scenes of that do we actually have? There's a total of 3. There's the first one in chapter 1, where they reference the David thing. The second time, it's not about Eida whatsoever. She is just there, other than the potential, Eida actually secretly influenced Sumire through omnipotence, blah, blah, blah. But aside from that, she's really just there. It's about Sara and Sumire. And then the third time's the one. It's the one they're calling back to, and it's the one where they're exposed.
And again, notice how all of those scenes are practically all in Two Blue Vortex. In part 1, this wasn't a problem. In Two Blue Vortex, she's been reduced down to not just a character on the same level as everyone. She's now a side character, where she felt like the thing to look out for in part 1. It's completely different.
Yeah, she's not, because
you're cutting out, by the way. I think you're good now.
Yeah, it's probably walked upstairs, but
okay.
Whereas, yes, we all know and agree that Damon fighting about Sarada and Sumire is bad for Sarada and Sumire. Technically, it's bad for Koji, but he was willing to risk Sarada, so it's clearly not the end of the world for him.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like it only extends to Sarada and Sumire. Whereas when Eida shows up in the Code arc, it's not bad for Sarada and Sumire, it's bad for everyone. Is that difference? If Sarada and Sumire being exposed meant, oh no, Eida's going to turn on the village and it's really, really, really bad, that would be different. But in this case, it's like, it's not going to change her and Shikamaru. It's not going to change her and Kawaki. It's not going to change her and Bori. It's just going to change Sarada and Sumire. You know, it's like, and how does that really matter?
It might be a little hard to put my finger on it, but if I were to describe what makes Eida so off-putting, it's the fact that she just looks like this delicate, almost childlike figure, and just like a girl that's so... And she's acting like the girly girl as well, that's focused on like vanity and popularity and fashion, and all these things that don't actually matter in the grand scheme of things, but they matter to Eida. But at the same time, she has that literal power of a god in more than just her Shinjutsu, in her presence alone as it is, literally through the love charm, technically. But even more than that, how I would describe it compared to the king, what she lost compared to part 1 to part 2, the king had authority because everyone already knew who he was. So he didn't need to constantly exert his power. If someone got out of line, he would exert his power. When he was born, he exerted his power. Once people bowed down, they stayed bowed down because they knew. That's the king. That's what I feel like Eida has lost. And she hasn't re-exerted herself to prove why she's important beyond just her abilities. But it's like that jarring contrast between her appearance and behavior, or like personality, and then like who she actually is. Because she knows who she is. She knows she's just this little girl, but she knows she has the power of a god, and she's not afraid to use it.
Oh, no, again, what I'm about to say, some of the other things I mentioned with the tone, isn't necessarily a critique or a praise. It's just a statement. Take it how you will. I'm not saying it's better or worse, but there's two things. And again, there is context behind this. Going from helping the antagonist to helping the protagonist. There is context for doing this. Mm-hmm. I'm just making the statement. So, Mamba, relax. So, in the Code arc, the way she speaks and the way she's drawn is different from the way she speaks and the way she's drawn. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean her character design changed. I mean very subtle things. But if you go and compare, you will know the difference. So what are these changes? The way she's drawn in the earlier Code arc, whether she's standing or sitting, it has that like the Meruem like feel. Like you feel the presence of like,
yeah,
she's dangerous. You get that vibe from the way she walks into the room, the way she's sitting talking to the way she speaks is a big one. It's very authoritative. It's like, she's talking down to Code, and it's like, this is what we're doing. You listen to me. It has that tone to it.
I'll also add the fact that Damon is the literal kid here, the literal little kid compared to Eida. He's the little kid, and he's treating everyone else like a little kid. So that's to say they're multiple tiers below Eida in a regard. It's almost like the Royal Guard in a way. It's Damon.
Yeah. I mean, he's supposed to be her guardian knight, so there you go. That's the king, that's her knight. But then in Two Blue Vortex, again, it's not to say that she doesn't have all that same power and authority technically, but she's not speaking to anyone in that way. She speaks to literally everyone. I mean, Shikadir, it's not that it's not funny, and I love that, but like, she speaks to everyone very friendly, and again, there is context, but she doesn't have that authoritative tone when she speaks. And yes, she's always drawn relaxed. That is consistent. But she's not drawn as imposing. And again, these are very subtle things about the way she's walking, the way she's sitting. Very subtle. She technically uses the same sitting pose a lot of times. This is very particular analysis of the art. But you can notice it's the difference between Jigen sitting on his chin and Jigen just sitting, essentially. Your problem is Jigen's never drawn out of that style. He's always drawn the way he's drawn, and it's good for Jigen. But I don't have a perfect comparison to think of. I don't know what character might also have this in Naruto or something. But even in the same pose, she's just drawn with a different tone, essentially. One is like, it's very authoritative. The other is just, she's with a group of friends.
In a way.
It's hard to explain. You have to really just look. And you have to go by what you feel as you're reading it too, because that's the important part when we're talking about this.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not saying that's better or worse, but it is a difference. And in light of what you're saying, it would go in hand with your whole point.
I would describe Eida's persona and charisma at first as a little bit more dull, maybe even drab. That's not to say lazy like Shikamaru, but it's to say relaxed, almost like Jura. In fact, I think the way that they describe Jura is how I think of Eida from part 1. Don't make him mad, because he's relaxed right now, he's calm right now, but you can make him mad. And if he gets mad, he can snap his fingers and destroy everything easily, and no one can stop him. And that's what it feels like with Eida. It's like a bomb that could be set off at any moment, so you have to be careful and aware at all times that you're around her, because she looks like anyone else.
Before she comes to the village.
Exactly. Because she looks and acts like anyone else, but if you lose sight of that, and you start to treat her like anyone else, well, that's not to say that you're not supposed to pretend like she's anyone else in her presence or whatever, but like, if you forget who she is, you can get reminded so quickly with the most devastating of consequences, because you're like an ant compared to her. She can squash you and everyone you love like a bug instantaneously.
It's kind of like Naruto and Komugi, whereas in that case, it's the fact that Komugi doesn't treat Naruto with fear that's kind of important. But like,
yeah,
at any point he could have killed her if she.
He almost does a couple times.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, of course,
she doesn't realize it because she's blind, but her life is in so much danger at like 7 different points.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
it's different because
it's on the verge.
Like, everyone wasn't going to actually kill her in the end, but
not in the end. But at the beginning, it was like a coin toss, like a one flinch, and he was gonna just kill her. It's just on the spot.
Yeah, and it's almost like Komugi's ignorance and just like carefreeness makes him not do it, but like she was dangerously close so many times.
I know, it's more like fate than anything, because I don't think it was Miram like, oh, I could kill her, but to spite her, I'm not gonna do it, so she bows down. No, I don't think it was that. I think it was like 50-50 shot, like, yeah, I could kill her, I could not, it doesn't really matter, I'll just let her live for now. More like that.
Well, he was too obsessed with other things, like the fact that she was so willing to die if she was, the fact that like he couldn't be here and so on, and it kept making him just not do it.
Yeah, as time went on, it became less and less, but at first it was more or less, I don't care about who this is, it's so easy to kill.
Yeah, I mean, he literally says that, like, I could squash her like a bug.
Exactly. But I'm glad that you're again comparing Eida to Meruem here, because that's again how I'm going to describe her here. Meruem comes into the arc like halfway through the arc, basically. Not quite, but you get the point. At that point, obviously, this is like towards the end of the series, we know and care for and love and have importance for all of our main character, hero, protagonist people. Likewise, at this point, they've established the antagonists, the villains, the Chimera Ants. We have got to know, we've grown with them. In a way, we've got to care and love for some of them. Especially, who's the kid? Which one's the one ant? You know what I'm talking about? Who?
Wait, what are you trying to talk about?
Who's the kid ant? What's his name again?
The ant?
Yeah, the kid ant, the guy, the kid ant, the boy kid ant that had the sister.
So Colt and Reina.
Colt, yeah, thank you. Yeah, Colt. Yeah. We care about Colt in the same way we care about Gon in a way, because of the story. When Meruem is born, he presents a threat to both sides equally. Yes, he's on the villain side, quote unquote, or whatever, but he's not viewing it as villain or good guy side. He's like this, not a rogue third party, but like above both parties, to where both parties that are inside of this war with one another are so insignificant to Meruem that it doesn't matter to him. He doesn't care about their squabblings. He joined halfway through the story. Why would he care? It's almost like Attack on Titan. Don't care about your ancestors' prejudice or whatever. It kind of goes along that line. Eida is in the same line to where she could kill Code just as easily as she could kill Naruto, and it feels like that at all times.
I mean, yeah, she is, but it is similar, yeah, because the Royal Guard and Meruem, they literally explain, like, yeah, everything we care about is the king, not the rest of the pack. So,
and again,
obviously,
the fact she
really care about how she was working with. It's kind of like Neferpita when she explains, like, my job with you is up until the king's born. Essentially, with Eida, I'm working with you, Code, up until you're done. Basically, after that, we go our separate ways.
Yeah. And again, this is towards the end of the series and like halfway through the arc, if you want to consider it. We already love and know and care for our main characters and our villains at this point. We've seen Code struggle and endure and grow and develop. So I'm not going to say that people love Code, right? I mean, at this point in time, people forget this. People loved Code when Eida was introduced.
Most people like Code. I mean, honestly, I think the Code, so I can't say for sure, but I don't feel like anyone really hated Code losing to Borushiki and Kawaki. I think especially Kawaki, everyone was like happy with that conclusion. I think the Code hate really came from when he got his limiters off and immediately lost to Damon, and then especially he comes back into okay, he lost to Damon. It's Damon, right? He doesn't invade in part 1. And then he does invade, loses to Boruto. And then they do the whole Ryu grabbing him out of the claw mark thing. Now, realistically, Koba's already too far gone in most people's eyes by that point. But, like, I feel like the big one was, okay, he lost to Damon. And then when he lost to Boruto, that's when a lot of those people were like, we are done with Code.
I don't know. I mean, the Cloud podcast was done with Code way before Two Blue Vortex. I would say when it comes to Code,
the Damon fight, but I don't feel like they were saying it before the Damon fight. Maybe not. Maybe I could be wrong.
I mean, I feel like some of them definitely were. Like maybe not. I'm not going to say half, but like maybe like 20% of people were. But I feel like a big catalyst for the Code hate, and I'm not saying this is why people hate Code at all. I don't think anyone hates Code because of this. But I think this is like the spark that ignited the firework. Where it began, even though this isn't where the hate began, but where it began is the fact that Code and Sasuke never fought, especially in the Ten Tails dimension. But also especially in the Code arc. Yeah, the Code arc especially there.
They do a thing with that. No, Sasuke wasn't there, but...
And it feels like they were being set up as rivals, and then they just weren't.
Especially since, like...
Naruto fought Delta.
Akara Inner and Delta.
Yeah, exactly.
Sasuke fight 1.
Because it just feels like Delta would be a perfect person for Naruto to fight, and the Code would be likewise a perfect person for Sasuke to fight, just based on fighting style alone.
And personality. There's a lot of reasons why.
Exactly. Kind of like Kinshiki and Momoshiki in a way as well, but that one's probably not as extreme. But,
yeah. Tactically did it eventually, but not at the time where it would have been best fit.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, so going back to the script here, since we haven't read this in a while. So again, she was introduced as this like higher power. She wasn't just said to be it, she proved it. Shout out, Sakura. But now, she just feels like any other teenage girl who worries about boys or romance or whatever. And for those who say that's the point, I say you're the problem. think about it. If Eida's narrative really is that she just is a teen girl and that's what she wants to be, and she was just caught up in all of this from the very beginning, like a storm that she just got caught in, like freaking Mikasa in Attack on Titan with her long nightmare, blah, blah, blah. And she just wants to be friends, and like we assume that is just something more than when at the end of the day, she just is a human who secretly wants friends and love, so subconscious desire, blah, 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 then give that role to Sumire, who already did that in the anime. Okay? I don't want Eida to have Zabuza's character arc of, oh, at the end of the day, actually, I'm just human. No, Eida's more than just human, and I want her to accept that. So, Sumire started as an anime-only character anyways. It works for her considering her character previously, and continues to work with her current love stuff with Boruto. Eida doesn't need it. It only holds the interesting part of Eida's character back by intentionally holding it back as the point. This isn't what they did with Kaguya, and Kaguya works. Her character is awesome. Without this, I pretended like I was a god, but at the end of the day, I'm just an ordinary man, Nagato BS. Well, ignoring my bias on the last part.
Worked.
So, before I continue, anything to say at all of that? Because I'm imagining this word starts getting a little bit controversial, but I think you agree.
I mean, what would you have in mind for Sumire there? Like, you giving Sumire the love charm, or are you just giving her, like, what are you giving her in that hypothetical?
Well, that's not me saying that I want Sumire to have this specifically, and that's the whole point of this topic. I was just like saying,
no, but like in that hypothetical.
Oh, well, I didn't really put much thought into it. I was just saying, Eida doesn't even need this. You can just give it to any other character. Screw it. Why not Sumire? I'll just throw in a name out there, pull a name out of the hat. I think Sumire does fit it best.
All right, let me clarify. Is the thing you're giving to whoever I'm actually just an ordinary human and not this god? Or is it I really want romance part? Or both? Like, what are you transferring in that case?
It's what I was thinking of was Sumire's anime original arc, the first arc of the Boruto anime, where she's like this bigger than, I'm not going to say bigger than life god figure or anything like that, but she did want to go with the destroy the Leaf Village plan because her father, her ancestors' prejudice. But at the end of the day, she just is the shy Hinata figure in like a girl. She's a human. She's not this tool for her father. This ninja that she was pretending, deluding herself to be.
That's all I need to know.
Okay, yeah. So again, it's the same idea as the I pretend like I was a god, but at the end of the day, I'm just an ordinary man Nagato line.
I was trying to figure out if you were focusing on that part or like the love thing with Kawaki. But no, I got my answer.
Yeah. Well, again, that's not to say that it can't be both with Sumire and that they both can't be intertwined. Yeah, since again, she already likes Boruto anyways. And so that just continues with that, considering she likes Boruto because of the first arc. So I think that both those can just go hand in hand to work as one unit, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I'll just say, if Eida's character arc is just the fickleness of self-acceptance, of just realizing she doesn't actually want Kawaki, but instead wants acceptance or friends or, herself, then you better hope that this is what they're doing, because otherwise, it's looking real bad for Eida.
Now, I'll say real quick, so, narratively, I'm going to make the distinction between plot and story for this, because I'm assuming this is the case for you anyway, but if it's not, then this will apply to other people. You don't have to change a thing about Eida's wants and desires, and everything about the loves, and everything about her personality, everything she wants with the Kawaki, all that jazz. You don't have to change a single thing. The only thing, I think this would do a lot of the trick for you, isn't about her character arc, but more so just the plot. She can be all that in the story. What she wants, what she needs. All that jazz can stay the same. But just have her in the plot. Do things. Maintain that presence of power. Have her raise the tension in various ways due to these plot-related things that she can and will do for whatever reason, whether it is about Kawaki or it's about figuring out the truth of Amino, whatever it is that she's after. Just have her do all that in the plot at the same time, and they don't have to be incongruent. They can work together cohesively. It can be that in the plot, she's raising tension with Sara and Sumire, which she's technically doing, but more prominently doing that, or raising tension in regards to Amino as it pertains to getting her goal of friendship or Kawaki or whatever. You can combine the two. I think really what it's going to boil down to is she's just not doing anything.
Well, exactly. So that's not to say that Eida can't have this character arc, but that it has to be more than that because it's Eida. And also, not just that it has to be more than that, but this itself, this character arc, I would want it to be more than just this as well, if Eida has it at all.
It doesn't even have to be that it needs to be more than that. I'm trying to can't figure out how I was going to say it a second ago, but
it depends how they write it, because we've done some theories of how it can work.
I'm trying to phrase this. Okay, it doesn't even need to be that it should be that and more, but rather it can be that without losing what came before. You didn't need to lose. I'm not saying to add anything. You just didn't need to take away something.
Exactly. So I would say don't give this to Eida as a character and have that be her entire character. Have this be the resolution for her love charm or for omnipotence, to where she's been able to control it all this time. It's just been her desire. As soon as she realizes her truth or come to some sort of conclusion, she'll stop desiring whatever, it'll turn off, and then she's accepted whatever. That's fine.
She gets the things she needs.
Because that addresses that part of her character, not her character.
Perfect character.
Exactly. But that's not her whole character. And that's the thing. I don't hate this character arc. You know that I'm biased against Nagito or whatever. This obviously isn't why, but ignoring that, there's nothing wrong with this character arc. You can do that. I like this as a character arc. I just don't like this as a character arc for Eida. That's not to say that it doesn't work for Eida, but that's to say if you ignore and exclude everything else and have this only be Eida's only thing, then I'm not going to like that because of basically Eida's potential, what she was, rather than what she could have been.
I mean, again, character arc aside, it just doesn't have to come at the expense of her losing the plot. And that, again, I'm not saying there's zero plot with Eida. Obviously, there's still plot with Eida. The fact that omnipotence still exists. I mean, granted, actually, that technically is a plot with Eida, because Momoshiki said you can kill her in a stage, so I'm not even going to count that. But there's still plot with Eida, obviously. But you didn't have to lose a lot of the plot things that were there / could have remained / could have been there because it was established to be there. You know, like, you didn't have to lose any of that.
Yeah.
And obviously, I get that, you know, Ikimoto's focusing on the Shinjus as the threat, but I'm not going to let that be your cop-out answer because the elders exist. Now, I'm not saying the whole thing with elders and Shikamaru and whatnot should be removed in place of whatever Eida's gonna do. Mm-hmm. My point being, the fact that they can exist and do what they're doing means that Eida can exist and have a similar level of effect. Whether it doesn't have to be that Eida's trying to kick Shikamaru out of office. You know, it doesn't have to be the same thing. The point is, similar level. Jura's the threat to destroy the world. He can be number one. But that doesn't mean that the elders kicking Shikamaru out of office and possibly putting Konohama in jail, whatever, isn't important, and it doesn't add tension. Oops. It does add tension, and Eida can serve equal amounts of that tension. Even when Amado is shun Kawaki down, or whatever Amado's bullshit's gonna be next. It's not necessarily the Jura level of tension at the moment, but it's tension. It's there. And basically, I think what this boils down to is that Eida had that level of effect and they just took it away. I get it, she's an ally. I get it. But you know what? The elders are technically an ally too. They are. They might not be Boruto's ally, but they are the Leaf Village's ally. They have the best interests of the village, even if they're objectively wrong. But they think they're right, and they're not trying to be evil. The same can apply for Eida. She's not necessarily out here to kill everyone in the village. Yeah. It just means that there can be an opposition of ideas between two particular characters, whether it's her and Shikamaru, whether it's her and Sumire, or it's her and Boruto, or her and Kashin Koji even. Why not? They're both Kara-inners. Why not?
Yeah, again, I'm not saying she has to, like, kill anyone to remind everyone of who she is, assert her authority. She doesn't have to kill anyone. She just has to go back to being who she's been being.
Well, I mean, I have a hypothetical idea. Eida versus Amino is a pretty obvious one. But what do you think about the idea about Eida versus Kashin Koji? So again, they're both Kara-inners who have Shinjutsu. So Koji knows, inevitably, there's no way around it, Eida's gonna be a singularity of fate. But rather than Eida exclusively just being pro-Koji, hypothetical scenario, she's not. She disagrees with some of Koji's plans or ideas of what he wants to do, something. And because she's an unavoidable singularity of fate, she can use that against Koji, essentially, to do something different from what Koji wants, and that creates that dynamic there. You could do that as a thing. Thoughts on that as a concept?
I like that. I want it to be something that even Koji didn't see coming. I like the way you worded that, because I thought you were going to say some kind of, like, physical fight.
Coming anyway.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
The way it's written, singularity of fate, he wouldn't be able to see it coming.
Yeah. Because...
honestly, after the first time, he could assume she's going to do it again, but he still won't know what's going to happen.
Obviously, I don't need Eida to physically actually do anything. It's just about how she's presenting herself. In fact, if she does present herself, that sort of takes away some of the charm of the mystique of, like, it's always going to be better in your mind than it is in reality. It's better left unknown so that you can fill in the blanks of whatever you think is best. I think of it similar to, shout out The Walking Dead, my #1 favorite thing to reference of all time, Negan from The Walking Dead, season 7 and 8, when he's like the boss, the leader, the guy on top, but he never even has to lift a finger, and he always gets his way, just because of what he exudes, his behavior and personality and the power, I guess, behind his name, but behind, like, his authority, just his presence, his role in the story. It alone is power in a way, and he knows it, and he presents that, and so everyone, because he presents it, everyone else knows it and submits to him as well. Similar in a way to Meruem
as Madara at the 5 Kage Summit.
That as well, yeah. He's technically doing stuff there, but I was gonna say something like Meruem, just like technically Nav didn't feel Meruem, he felt Pito, but like Nav just didn't want to fight anymore. Oh, really? He felt Poof? No, he felt Pito.
It was Poof. That was Poof's end. That's the reason Nova's even there is because Pito dropped her end to heal Meruem's arm, and Poof did his end in place of it, and that's what hit Nova.
Well, it was off, but then Pito turned it back on at the last moment, and then because I remember Nova also thinking about going and killing. Oh man, you guys felt this. I can't believe that you guys felt this, and you're still okay. Yeah. Because I think it's that he could see Poofs. Maybe it was like a short range or something.
He saw Poofs and avoided it.
Yeah.
And then randomly got caught off guard by... Unless there was Palm when the scene of him getting... I think okay, we're going to have to double check, because now that I'm thinking about it, I think Nova might have fled before he saw Poof's aura, got afraid and left, whereas Palm got caught. That's what it was. Palm got caught by Pito's end. She saw Poofs was afraid, then got caught by Pito, but Nova left before he ever got caught. Because otherwise they would just really got caught. He just saw Poof's end and ran away.
I mean, he probably at the very least saw Pito's. He must have felt at least a lingering something from Pito.
Well, he probably saw it when he was way outside the castle, but... Because
I'm pretty sure that's why he's, like, losing his hair, because the pressure, the stress from Pito.
I'm pretty sure it was Poof. I think Palm is the one who felt Pito's end.
I mean, feel free to double check.
But either way. But technically, that's not even the king, so I don't even want to use that, even though I think it totally is fair, applicable as like an analogy. But I would say for the king itself, I would say when the Wolfen, Yale Wolf,
Wolfen.
It is
Wolfen feels his end in just like 30 years.
Exactly, yeah, right at the very end. Was it his end? I thought it was just like the feeling that he was about to die.
No, yeah, okay, we're mixing up different scenes because there's so many similar moments.
You're supposed to be the Hunter x Hunter fan between us two.
It's when he asked him the question, and then the answer that he gives was Kamui. He was racking his brain trying to figure out what to say. Yeah.
But something like that. It's just, again, it just proves the King's is what the King is. Like, the characters know it, and so the audience is going to know it, because we're seeing it without him even having to lift a finger. He's not doing anything. Yeah. He's not even trying to scare him. It's just his existence alone is scary to these people, because, not because he is stronger than them, but because our characters are weaker than him.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want that with Eida, too. But I'm assuming you're checking that, by the way. So if
I am, and I was right. Okay. He doesn't get hit by it.
Really? Then why does he say the thing about Gon and Killua having felt pitos later on?
He's saying that they
felt like the full thing.
How are
the
they
real
not
deal.
Scared? Like, it's like they had it worse than me, and they're not scared, basically.
Yeah, because they were hit like by the full-fledged thing, whereas I thought he was hit by just a little bit of it.
I mean, I'll see what he says later in the chapter with that, but he says I've never seen. Yeah,
what happens when he's leaving?
Here, wait, you're sharing the screen. I'll just tell you. So he sees the aura come down. I can't go any closer. Just can't. If I do, they'll kill me. I've never seen such aura. It's as if it's full of everything sinister in the world. I did not. It's not that I fear death anymore. What I fear most is the things lurking above me, the things that they'll do. Blah blah blah. If I was caught, I have no way to resist. That's what this aura is telling me. This is as far as I go. Then he leaves, and then let's keep going. Next chapter.
is the scene where he like decapitates that one like royal, not royal guard, but like the random bug that's in there? Is that anime only, or is that in the manga? Because that was so cool.
No, that's in the manga too.
Let's go.
His like OP ability, and that he can just do
it's
crazy
so
shit
cool.
like that.
It's
bro.
Basically,
and that's why they took him out of the arc, bro.
It's like how Kakashi used Kamui on Datara, but if Obito did it with his close range version. It's that.
Yeah, literally.
Man, Obito should have done that to someone.
Okay, so I found it. Yeah, I honestly thought that would be really funny. He just snipes the head off up
instead
close.
of
Why
the
not?
full body.
Like, why can't he do that? Actually, considering like, what's the difference with Kakashi?
But considering the full body takes so much more time, he just probably could have just taken off Minato's arm the very first like time he touched him.
Just take off his head.
He just wins because Mito can't do hand signs. It's can't flying right away.
Actually, yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. That would be funny. He just takes up his dominant hand over for a second. Yeah. We have to scour through. Okay, let's make a note for this. Topics.
What are you looking for?
Scour every statement and data book scan to see if Obito should be able to snipe an arm or head like Kakashi's Kamui.
That's so stupid.
Anyway, back to Nove. Palms don't get in your head. If you get caught, you'll die. Such vicious aura. My spirit was broken just by seeing the aura. Gon, Killua, you've seen it too. You were even closer than I was. Even touched it. Then how are you able to face it again? Blah blah blah. So he does make the distinction. You've even touched it. Whereas I've just seen it.
Maybe it's the dub in the anime or something, because I remember it was like, oh, you were hit full blast.
I think you're just mixing up. It's a very similar looking scene when Palm gets caught. Is the thing.
I could have sworn he's like, you guys were hit full blast compared to me. It's like, gosh, it's barely touched with it, a drop. was like creeping up my toenail, and I'm freaking out. Because I swear I remember him being like, being hit with it is like being naked in a blizzard or something, like a blizzard storm.
Okay,
you're exposed to it, exposed to the elements
somewhere, but I think it's in reference to like,
because I don't remember on that one.
Zetsu and getting hit by it or something. Like the thing you're talking with the naked in the blizzard, it's somewhere. I don't know who says it. I don't even think it was about this context. I think it was. About,
I don't remember. I just remember the statement.
Yeah.
But that might be part of it, because you're right. Isn't Nob using Zetsu to hide at the time? Whereas Gon and Killua, I don't think they were, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Nob is using Zetsu to hide, presumably.
Okay, so that probably has something to do with it at the very least.
Yeah, that's probably, it amplified. That might be what he's saying, is because he was in Zetsu, made it even scarier or something. I don't know, but
yeah. Okay, I'll just go with that.
Or it might be when Palm gets caught, she's using Zetsu, and so she gets hit with the aura full force or something like that. Anyway,
you love referencing that, Bob.
No, because because you clearly got the scenes mixed up. So. So clearly, I mean, I'm sure there's something in that scene that's translating back.
Whatever. Either way, I would love for Eida to have a moment like that.
We need to get moving.
I know. So again, I just want to reiterate, I don't at all hate the self-acceptance arc, or, I want X character to have a conclusion about feeling or wanting acceptance or friends or themselves instead of love or whatever else. I think that would work for Sumire best of all characters, but that's to say that character arc is a-okay. I'm fine with that. It can be good. I want it in this. I just don't want it for Eida. Or at least I don't want that to be Eida's only thing.
I'm fine with it being for Eida. You just don't have to lose her presence together.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with that. But
like, hypothetically, you can even argue the king technically has that character arc. He never lost his kingly presence at any point, no matter how human he became. He was always the king, and you knew it. In fact, he was at his strongest at the end when he's the most human.
Exactly, yeah. You know, like his moments before his death.
Yeah, like mere moments before his death. Everyone was helpless before him. He was bowing down to Palm because what he wanted wasn't combat related whatsoever, but he could have killed them all, and everyone knew it, and everyone was afraid of him.
Exactly. Well, anyways, if they do it for Eida, then, like, if they do this, then I don't have anything to really care about Eida's character anymore. She sucks. Okay, she doesn't suck, but, like, sucks comparatively by a lot. It brings her down from a 10 to, like, a 6, if not lower. Honestly, that's me being generous.
You know, something else I'll also add is that again,
okay, I see why I said
everything.
6.
Eida has all the same power, so it's technically the same. But this type of character arc, I'm a god, but I'm a human thing, works best the more godly they're being. So it would work great for Marowak, and you can technically say it is there. When it comes to Nagato, he was being godly. At the time, he was the eyes of a god. His abilities were godly. He was destroying the whole village, floating in the air before blowing it up, and all this shit, almost sealing the Ninetales on his deathbed. Like, he's doing all this reviving the whole village. Like, he's doing godly things the entire time. He's not, I could, but I'm not going to do anything at all times. Like, he's doing. It's not about what he could do. It's about what he is doing. He's not just saying it. He's proving it. Whereas, we all know Eida can do all these things, but she's not doing a single one of them. And so, if you're going to do that arc, it does, again, this is only plot. Eida can have the exact same thing. Everything the same about her character. But if she's actively making moves and using her godliness to do things, it only amplifies that particular character arc. Now, personally, am I saying they're doing Eida, I thought I was a god and I'm not? No, I don't think Eida thinks she's a god at all. But Are there elements of that character type in her? Yes, of course. But, well, seemingly anyway. So I'm not gonna say it's exactly the same as, like, the Nagato line, which isn't really the cornerstone of his character anyway, just one aspect, but, it's not exactly the same.
No, that's a good point.
If you're gonna do that, it's only gonna work better if she's just doing the more godly things she can do.
I'm glad you say that, though, because that makes a good point. It amplifies it because we're seeing the contrast, the change from point A to point B. If she just is at point B, then when she changes to point B, it's not going to matter. Likewise, so like, for example, if Choji had the character arc of like, oh, I'm not a ninja, I'm just a human being, that's not going to do anything for me because he doesn't even care about being a ninja in the first place. He basically lost the Dosu fight because he just doesn't care. He just wants to go out to eat. He's just casually eating chips, watching the Shikamaru fight. I'm not going to say casually eating chips, but like, you get the point. He's just like, it's doesn't matter. And then you get to his death, and if he's like, oh, I've realized it now. Oh, I'm just a kid. You've been a kid the whole time, Choji. When you died, I don't care. Likewise.
Well, yeah, so for Choji, it's something like, like when he's gonna die in the Sasuke retrieval arc. If Choji just like was being like, even earlier in the arc, if like Kiba and everyone aren't dissing him for being weak, it's just everyone's best friend in the Chunin exam. Like, everyone just loves him, even more than Sasuke. Then when he's like, I really made some great friends, when he sees that sign, it's not gonna be the same, because he just already had that.
Sure, yeah. And that's to do a ridiculous and goofy example. I'll do a serious example that proves why this is bad. It's going to be technically inherently goofy, just imagining it. But like if Zabuza was introduced crying, when he throws the sword and lands on the tree, he's crying because he loves Haku so much. Then when Naruto does his talk no jutsu, we're not going to care. If he's just doing that the whole time, we already know. It doesn't change anything. It's like, yeah, Zabuza, you are human.
Goofy. It's revealed the reason Zabuza wasn't crying is just because he already cried so much before the arc. And we just didn't know
God. It's just like he needs to be a stone cold killer that cares about nothing at all, even the closest people to him, for him crying at the end to matter. It's like, not to matter, but to have significance.
Or when it comes to like Gaara might be better. So like I'm trying to figure out exactly the best analogy to use with Gaara, but we know that he's being a crazy killer, scaring Naruto, he's got his way of his life, he's lonely, blah blah blah. So with Eida, she just wants to be an ordinary girl. If she just is being an ordinary girl, that's like, well, Gaara, if he could kill anyone, but he's not. Like, it's like, oh yeah, Naruto, he's just like, Naruto, I could kill everyone in this village. But then he just doesn't. Naruto's just not scared by him. Or Gaara says I just don't want to be lonely. And meanwhile, he's just hanging out with Kankuro and Tamari. Like, it's no big deal. And they're just all happy together. It's just like, well, you're already there. Like, whether you're Jinchuriki or not. I think the killing one's more the point, though, because it's like, well, Eida could do it, but she's not. So it's not adding any tension anywhere. It's just... And then it's just not making the contrast between him and Naruto, because, like, well, Naruto's like, I could have ended up like Gaara. Well, no, you just are like Gaara. You could kill all these people, but you're not either.
Instead of Gaara being like, I kill because only I love myself, and that's proof of my existence. If he's instead like, I exist. There, I proved it. I exist. That doesn't mean. You're there. He's like pulling his skin away, like on his arm, like, see, I'm real.
Day, I look in the mirror to confirm that I exist,
and I'm still there. Oh, I love it. That's got to go with the abridged with like the counting to 6 thing. That's too good.
Okay, write it down.
Stupid. Oh my god. But hey,
do you want to know how I confirm my existence, Naruto? How? Every morning I wake up and look in the mirror for 5 seconds. Shikamaru says, why not longer? He's like, what do you mean? Like, why don't you count the 6? What's that? What's that? What are you saying?
Wait, it doesn't end there?
He's like, wait. It goes fast 5. It's a nice.
I thought that was the last one.
He's like, oh, my father didn't teach me anything. He's like, I'm gonna have to confirm this with Kokoro Tamari when I get back.
When he confronts his dad in the war arc, he's like, Dad, why did you send 5 assassins my way? His dad's like, wait, I could have done more? You thought I did that out of choice? No, I just didn't know. I thought that was the max number.
Or he's like, Father, why? Why did you do it? He's like, why did I kill you? No. Why didn't you tell me there was a number greater than 5? I just learned it the other day. It's 6. Ross is like, what about 7? Cars is mind blown.
What? Oh yeah, next you're gonna tell me there's an 8.
Gar's mob starts talking to him, just making the numbers with the sand.
Yeah. Instead of Gara's mob's hands protecting him, it's just the number 9.
It's the number.
Oh, it's so stupid. Anyways, getting back to this. So I have a Why People Hate Attack on Titan finale script, and in it, one of the things that I wrote down is that part of why I think other people don't like it, even though they don't know how to express this sentiment, so they express more specific things. I think on a more macro level, people think it lost its identity, lost its soul, lost its spirit. What made Attack on Titan. And what was left, I'm not going to say is a shell or husk of its former self, even though I do say it in the script, I'm not going to say that now. But I'm going to say it's reduced down to just a story. I'm not going to say a mediocre story, just like any other story, but Attack on Titan was special. It was something greater than. It was more than just that because of 2 specific elements. We don't need to get into it right now. But that's what I think would be Eida's character in this case. I think if they only do this for Eida's character, then congrats. She's a good character. She's the most minimally good character imaginable. Just like Attack on Titan. Yeah, it's a good story, but that's all it became when it was something so much more than that. It just turned into only a good story. So I think that's what would be Eida's character if they do that, and I don't want that because I want Eida to be more than just a character.
Anything to say that? Attack on Titan thing in the topics tab at all?
No, it's in my phone script.
I should write it down somewhere so that way we can talk about it live at some point.
We technically have the 2 elements I wrote down. Again, we don't have to get in. I'll just tell you the 2 elements. Is that it started as a horror thing, and the horror elements, not the story, but the horror elements is, that's what got people intrigued and hooked. It changed later on, and rather than removing it because people liked it until the ending, I think that it changed from the horror element being the special thing that stood out to be greater than the story into more of the time travel stuff, the time travel elements. That's what got people hooked and intrigued, because especially that went hand in hand with the story. And my theory is that that was more or less hand-waved in the finale. What they did address, they barely addressed it at all, but what they did address there didn't have any meaningful or significant change on the plot. It's a big revelation, but either way, it doesn't change or impact anything in the finale.
Sending the Titan to his mom, right? Or like, that the Pats, it's all at the same time. Yeah, I agree with you there. It's technically there, but if you didn't write that line, it would change absolutely nothing.
Exactly. And the
only thing
time travel stuff is so big.
Would be the Eren saying, "Oh, I've tried it many times," because
I agree.
It always turns out. That's fine. And we don't need him sending his mom. I don't.
I know, yeah. And technically, that line works to finish that story arc. But again, I feel like the time travel stuff at that point of the story, for a lot of the audience that had been experiencing the story for literally a decade up to this point, month to month, coming back on the day the chapter release, they've literally grown with the series as the series itself has grown. the time travel stuff was something more than just the story. It was something special, and people are looking for more than that. Not a payoff, not a revelation, but something greater than. And that's why I think, again, I don't think either of us have read the Attack on Titan Requiem manga, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly...
We actually should soon, because I heard that
we
they
should.
were getting sued, so we should probably check that out before it's too late.
I agree. I heard that as well recently. But I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% confident, that's exactly what the Requiem manga like dives into. It's the time travel stuff. Because I mean, you remember the time loop theory. It was burning across the internet, especially with the fact that, oh, we're gonna get an anime original ending. That probably added fuel to that fire. But people were really looking for a time travel thing that they just didn't do. And I'll also add, because the horror element wasn't there in the finale like it was at the beginning, they couldn't fall back or rely on that either. That's not to say there aren't things in the finale that aren't scary. Of course there are, but it's different at the very least.
Yeah, I actually will do it another time, which is how would we incorporate more of the time travel stuff into the finale?
Yo, that could be interesting, yeah.
We'll have to think about that, because we definitely can't do that right now.
Yeah.
But continuing this, here's where I call you out specifically. Kamui, no wonder you think Eida's gonna get devoured. If you think this is all her character is, ugh, gross.
Well, I didn't say she was. I think that someone should.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't remember why I'm specifically calling you out, because I don't remember you ever expressly thinking this. This must be like my thing of you with like your thing of me with the Baki thing. The one comment I said on Baki. You must have said one random passing comment on Eida, and I'm holding it over your head forever.
It's probably when I said that, like, well, since they didn't do it, Dakota Hambru, like...
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. That is what it is, yeah. Because it was that one topic of, like, oh, well, if no one gets devoured, that's just stupid. So it has to be Eida. And then you were going, like, well, assuming it is Eida, how do we go about it? And, like, all that stuff. I was like, I don't think it's going to be Eida, but I'll entertain this. Yeah, that's like, I wrote this suit after that.
But, seem to be doing Konover.
Yeah, I mean, because it doesn't feel like you want it to happen, but it feels like now you want it to happen, not for Eida's character, but for the story. You want Eida to be devoured.
Yes, because I want someone to be devoured.
Exactly. And it feels like you've already accepted it, is my problem. Because my problem, if you do accept that, then everything I just said about Eida's character, I think is true.
No, but here's the thing, though. I'm going to break your heart with this. Think about the timing of this Sarada Sumire thing that just happened and what's going to happen next chapter, probably.
I know.
Think about the timing.
No, I know.
And they're doing it now. Mamushi has a week before he shows up. You know what that means, right?
I'm aware.
They're wrapping up Eida's character so she could be devoured.
It's a possibility.
It's dangerously high.
Well, I forget who he said it with. Was it Mello that Eida has like 4 other people that she needs to like wrap up her character arc with as well as herself?
Yeah, I agree. But technically, at least that's really the thing, is that it would be random for Kawaii to just show up and then Borja to just show up and then Ko to just show up. So
see, this is the problem, Kamui. They could do it, but if they do it again,
it's the time.
Again, it brings her down from a 10 to a 6. Congrats, you have the most minimally good narrative imaginable. Yeah, it's good, but just barely.
We agree.
Oh my god, okay. Well, I'm glad you say that, because right here I address exactly that. Next chapter will decide it all with Eida, I guess. They could resolve literally everything with her and finish her character arc and immediately kill her because she's the most dispensable character at that point, even more than Sumire, because she's just some normal girl. Like, bro, she ain't Akabi or Delta. Like, why are we doing this with Eida, of all people? And that's my problem. It's Eida.
I also want to add another aspect to this. So, whereas you and I both agree, it's infinitely better if she can have that one-on-one talk with Boruto, have that talk with Kawaki, have the interaction with Amado and Code and so on. We agree it's just better that way. But here's the problem. The problem is, like whoever we were debating it, she technically doesn't need it, and there's a particular reason why. It depends, and obviously it depends on Eida's character arc. But if her character arc really is just like accepting herself and her friendship and blah 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 with Sarada Sumire, through the Sarada Sumire conflict, she can have that resolution to where she personally accepts that she no longer needs she no longer hates Amado. She no longer wants to be in love with Kawaki or Boruto, whatever. She can want it, but it's not what she deeply desires and needs anymore. It's just like, oh, that'd be nice. That's the end of it. If she gets to that point, she can die without having met anybody. Obviously, Code, it's really about Code anyway, and you're just not gonna get that, and that sucks. But the others, they could technically wrap that up. I mean, how Code could show up in the middle of it, just but like, they could technically address them without directly.
Eida should be around until the end of the story. Because what you're saying is true. If they do that, if they have Eida realize next chapter, oh, I'm just a normal girl, and she's just a normal girl then, and then that's all Eida's is. She's just a normal girl, then I want her to be devoured, because they've ruined her character. They took away everything and made her a 6 out of 10 most minimally good character. I don't want her in the story anymore. If that's all they're going to do, it's going to be like Rock Lee and Shippuden. I don't want her there anymore. Devour her, I don't care. But at that point, devouring her doesn't do anything, because I don't care.
That's the thing, though, because
it would be ruining her character.
Particular her character, and they're not gonna because they.
That's the way I see it, though. The only way that the only way that Eida gets devoured is if they ruin her character. And if they don't ruin her character and she gets devoured, then they ruined her character. There's no way around it. Either she's not a god and she's just a normal girl, or she gets devoured, and both answers ruin her character. Because then we were just wrong in part 1 through the entirety of part 1, and she wasn't ever at any point actually a god kind of figure at all, and not because she didn't present herself because we were just wrong, unlike Nagato, who pretended like he was a god. We were just wrong. Eida just wasn't that all along, because that's her character arc that she realized and accepted that.
Because the thing is, like, you can't just devour 100 chapters from now. It doesn't work. Because Moshi's on the move. You don't want to have the Moshi's on the move last for 100 chapters.
Assuming they do a Dragon Ball route, then Eida likely will be devoured. Maybe not by Mamushi, but maybe by Jura later on. And Eida will come back at some point after Jura is defeated, or around that time of the story, because that's what happens in Dragon Ball. Cell devours Android 16 and 17, 17 and 18, and then turns into Perfect Cell. Perfect Cell gets defeated. Android 17 and 18 come back. That's how it works in Dragon Ball. That's what I think they're referencing through this in the first place.
Maybe, but the problem for me, at least, is that there's no winning. There's a loss no matter what. Shout out Madara. There's winners and losers, but like...
No, there's only losers. He proved the world.
Yes, but like, the problem is... So obviously, like we said, so if they just devour Eida now, incomplete, that's a loss. If they complete Eida first, this quickly... That just means there never was as much in the first place, and it's still a loss.
Exactly.
If Eida isn't devoured, it's now a loss on Mamushi's end, because think about it. The Shinju are just, like, shut up, Mello. They're just taking L's. They're just losing. No one's getting anywhere. They're just sitting around doing nothing. The one time they do something, they lose. And it's just like, then it's just a loss of Mamushi. After all this build-up, I know most of the build-up's just the community hyping up Mamushi. But like, after all of this, it's just like, we can't just let
be a failure too. Then it just nobody cares about anything anymore. We don't care. We've lost. Our immersion's broken, and then it's just like, no matter what.
I don't know.
Losing Mamushi.
I disagree. I don't think if Mamushi loses, then it's just the Shinju are taking L and they're bad characters. I feel like that just is the Western brain, because that doesn't apply to Dragon Ball. Like, every single person on the Frieza Force takes an L. They all lose. But everyone loves that arc. It's the best arc in Dragon Ball, apparently.
The problem is, like, Mamushi is the most different. And he has the potential to do something with his differences. And yes, he can just lose, and that can mean something to Jura, I guess. But, like, how much is Jura really taking away from Shinji? Like, actually, like, what's he going to take away from Mamushi? Like,
I mean, I
the
think
most interesting thing you can do with Jura is by having Mamushi succeed, because Mamushi's doing things differently from everyone else. So that's where, if he loses, it's like, it's not going to change Jura. But if he wins, that can change Jura, kind of thing.
I feel like it's the same as both Sasuke and Vegeta, who only lose. Sorry, what?
This is also ignoring Damon, because none of us think him losing to Damon's an L, and none of us want him just beating Damon. The point is, remove Damon from the equation for this. But
I still think Eida could just foderize Mamushi. We'll find out.
This also assumes that Eida is just a basic taijutsuist, and that's
Yeah, again, we'll get into Damon stuff when the next chapter starts rolling around. But that aside, I think that it would be similar to, like, if the Shinju lose, it could be similar to Vegeta or Sasuke. Because has Sasuke ever won a fight that matters? Ever?
Depends on what you consider mattering.
Exactly. And it also depends on what you consider winning the fight. He lost to Naruto in episode 3. He lost to, technically, the flashbacks. He lost in the well, no, he beat Naruto in the academy, but Naruto is fodder. He beat the Demon Brothers, but they're fodder. He lost to Haku. He loses to Lee. He loses to Gaara. He lost to Naruto, but because Naruto chose to lose, he scratched his head there. Or he won to Naruto.
Yoroi.
Okay. Yoroi's fodder. Datara blew himself up. Kaguya was sealed, not defeated. It's like, how far do we take this? Oh, he didn't kill Team 7 at Tenchi Bridge, so it was inconclusive.
Orochimaru was heavily nerved.
Exactly! It's like, how far can we take this? Code has not only taken L, he beat the fodder at Boro's hideout. Like, we can't be saying this. It's the same thing for Vegeta. He's never actually won a fight. He lost in the arc he was introduced to. He lost in the Frieza arc. He lost in the Cell arc. He lost in the Buu arc. How far can we take this?
I've already done what you're saying for my Code video a while back. I counted up Sasuke, Orochimaru, and Madara's, and probably someone else's L's, and just proved that Code has less in, similar amounts of time.
So it doesn't matter.
But my thing with the Shinju would be, it's not any one Shinju, it's just as a whole.
It's all of them. I get that.
Because like the one who can do something every single time goes out of his way to just not do it.
But that's why I don't think, because I'm sure we all agree, you, me, and the rest of the community agree, Jura isn't taking L's. He might be an L character based on whatever decisions we disagree with, but he's not taking L's.
But he's not doing anything, though.
Well, that's where I think an L matters, is if a character is stronger than another character and they lose to that character. Kiba took an L. I would argue that Sasuke was relative to, maybe even stronger than Lee in their first meeting, and that he underestimated Lee, and that's why he was going to take that hit, regardless if that was going to defeat him or not. Hey, we can disagree on that for now. That doesn't really matter. That doesn't change anything. But I think that definitely plays into it. But either way.
Well, yeah, the fact that he thought he was stronger definitely plays into it.
Oh yeah, I think he was underestimating Lee, just because that's Lee's entire narrative. Everyone's underestimating Lee.
Yeah.
And Sasuke thought he was hot stuff.
He was just blatantly weaker.
I don't think it was that he's being perception blitzed weaker. I think he puts up a good fight.
The problem with that, whereas I feel like that should be the case, the problem is that I don't care how much you're underestimating him. He's using the Sharingan.
I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. Consider that version of Sasuke compared to the Sasuke that was tracking Haku and tracking Orochimaru. It's not the same. It's not a plot hole. It's the amount of focus.
Haku, but if you take things at face value in a way, yeah, everyone's just miles faster than Haku.
But that's not the case because it's a different version of the character.
If you look at the databook stats, Haku ain't that strong.
Say whatever you want. Sasuke was warmed up, or he was mentally amped when he was fighting Haku and Orochimaru. That's a different version of the character. He was focused at the time. Unlike Lee, he just had his Sharingan activated.
If he's mentally amped, then that's just an abnormally strong Sasuke anyway.
Yeah, well, that's not what I mean by mentally amped, but either way. Because, like, I think that Sasuke can be any version of Sasuke. It's not based on that specific context. I mean, technically, it could be a little bit.
Haku fight Sasuke is definitely doing a lot better against Lee. That's for sure.
But, like, hypothetically, Lee randomly, instead of Naruto showing up to stop Orochimaru in the Forest of Death and saving Sasuke, it's Lee who interrupts the Sasuke-Orochimaru fight when Sasuke's taking it seriously, and he decides to fight Sasuke himself. Sasuke does so much better there. If he's already warmed up against Orochimaru, he's like tracking Orochimaru's movements. I can see. If
Goku fought Sasuke, he just wins, whereas Lee was doing better. Like, it could just be a series of mismatches too. I mean, to be fair.
I mean, do you think that Lee would have, if he got that hit off, if the turtle didn't stop him, do you think that would have finished the match? Or do you think Sasuke would have got back up after that?
No, he knocked Sasuke out clean.
Okay.
He's got primary Lotus him.
I mean, I understand that, but I mean, Naruto got up with it. I mean, but again, that's the difference with being warmed up in a fight. Naruto bumped his head and was quote unquote knocked out. He's tanking freaking Kiba's.
Always inconsistent.
Okay, but it regardless of if it's inconsistent or not, it happens, and so we have to factor that into their durability. How is he tanking Kiba's 22 claw marks? How is he literally vaporizing trees as he's blasted through them, but a bump on the head knocks him out? Like, clearly there's different levels to this, to where Naruto and Sasuke were not in their A game in that Lee introduction.
I'm not saying Sasuke's in his A game. I'm just saying... It's hard. It honestly is hard because, like, technically what Sasuke does versus Yoroi, you could just say is an A-game Sasuke type of feat, in which, in the Forest of Death, when he's, not being scared of Orochimaru, he could theoretically just do the same thing, in which case that gets him to weighted Lee level, but he's not, like, it's not basically what you're trying to say. He's weighted Lee level secretly.
No, I don't think it's secretly. But I'm not saying.
You get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I don't think he's
or weightlessly.
I'm not saying that Sasuke's fodderizing Fifth Gate Lee in base or anything like that. I'm saying that if you put Lee in Haku's position towards the end of the fight, where Sasuke's tracking Haku from mirror to mirror, he's hitting him with the fireball jutsu, he's literally dodging out of the way of Haku's needles. Yes, I understand Haku's slowing down, but I think Haku at that speed was probably relative, if not faster than Lee at that time. Sasuke's tracking it, he is reacting to that. He's able and capable of fighting against that tier of combat. He's not being overwhelmed anymore.
So back to my question. Are you getting him to wait on Lee or weights awfully?
I'm not measuring it like that. I'm doing simple analysis to say Kakashi considers Sasuke the strongest in the Leaf. I think it's fair to say.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He's definitely considered Neji stronger. Made that abundantly clear in his prelims fight.
I meant in the Land of Waves.
Wait, he definitely doesn't think Sasuke is the strongest in the Leaf.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He has a statement like that.
Oh, so he thinks he's stronger than Hiruzen?
That's not what I mean. Okay, your purpose. Let's take it up with Kakashi. Stop me.
Okay, we gotta check this out. Okay, we need to finish your Eida topic, bro. We don't have time for mine.
I know. I'm so sorry. If they do this, getting back to the Eida topic, if they do this, then I don't have anything. Okay, we already read that. Already read all that. Eida of OP. And okay. And Koji has Inoji now, so he doesn't need Eida. And in fact, Koji can want to get rid of her to advance his character. And Mamushi can devour his target to satisfy those fans. And Mamushi can be the predictable twist final villain. Grand omnipotent Senrigan wielding antagonist by devouring, literally and metaphorically, Eida's character. Propping up others / the plot by destroying herself utterly, entirely. Eida will be the worst main character in the entire franchise. The sidest of main characters, like effing Ino, are like 10 times better than Eida's character arc if this is all they do with her and all they were ever going to do. See, that's the problem, especially if it's planned out. It's arguably worse if it's not planned out. Like, let's just say that Ikimoto was the writer from the beginning, and he's doing everything he's doing with Omnipotence, and then that's what we get with Omnipotence in the end, the most lackluster thing. I can almost excuse it more because there was a change of writers. We can't do that with Eida's character. If she's being propped up as something from the very get-go, and this is what they do with her, that's inexcusable, even more than Omnipotence.
So real quick.
Yeah. Are you going to go back to the lead thing? You are going back to the lead.
I do think this is another case of you combining two different things in your head, potentially.
Oh my god!
But I think what we got is even better.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna put in intro pictures, but I'm not gonna post it yet.
Okay. Well, is this towards the beginning of the fight?
So
like, I think even
Sasuke,
I think it's even before the ice mirrors. It might be a little bit after the ice mirrors.
It's before ice mirrors.
Okay, yeah.
He says
it might also be different in the anime,
Sasuke,
especially the dub.
Mm-hmm. He says that Sasuke's the Leaf Village's #1 rookie.
Yeah,
which would just be true anyway. We all know that.
Well, there you go.
But here's the important part. What do you think he says about Sakura?
I don't know. I mean, she is the... Well, it depends. Do you mean like in this scene or elsewhere? Because...
In this scene. What does he specifically say?
I don't know, but I do think that Sakura is as strong as Naruto and Sasuke in this arc. You can disagree with me all you want. She's relative to them. Sakura is the brightest.
So Sakura is brighter than Kakashi, Shikamaru, Hiruzen, everyone. She's the brightest. He is the smartest person in the village. He didn't say she's the brightest rookie. No. In the village.
Okay, that's even funnier. Okay, to be fair, this is just more evidence that if the Naruto franchise ended at the Land of Waves, there's nothing wrong with this. This is just more evidence that it could have done that. It just doesn't ruin anything.
I mean, because to be fair, we haven't seen anything smarter than Sakura.
There's a lot of lines like this.
Just really shown off her smarts that much. Right?
I know. But like, going into the Land of Waves arc, they have the moment where Sakura is thinking about, oh, I wish I could have been more useful against Zabuza, just like Naruto and Sasuke. But then you get to the tree climbing, and Kakashi says that Sakura is the most likely to become Hokage. That's to motivate Naruto, but I don't think it's not true. Sakura is the only one qualified to protect Tazuna, and Naruto and Sasuke aren't allowed to until they finish the tree climbing. You could say that's more incentive for them to finish the tree climbing. Whatever. Sakura is protecting Tazuna on the bridge. They don't even take Naruto. Again, he's passed out from the training. He's not even supposed to wake up this day. Yeah, how many days does he wake up early? But regardless of that. Sakura is just doing stuff. Even after this arc, I know she has one line where it's like, oh, I feel so useless compared to them. But there's another line to where it's like implied that she's still stronger than Naruto. It's like she's saving Naruto's life in the Land of Waves. She's doing all these different things. I think that it's fair to say that, at least in the Land of Waves, without the context of the rest of the series, Sakura is relative to her teammates. Or at least they all have strengths and weaknesses.
Like, she's not relative to like a ramped up Naruto doing his billions of clones and shit like that.
Yeah. And I would say they all have their strengths and weaknesses. They're all relative in base.
But like, we fight Naruto. Yeah, Sakura can hang. No doubts.
Oh my god.
Probably knock him out too.
Okay. I mean,
but anyway.
The last thing I'll say on this, if you just, regardless of Sasuke, if you just look at how Naruto goes to fight Lee, no wonder Lee was able to counter that. Bro jumped in the air, threw a fist at him with his eyes closed. His arms all the way fully extended. He's just ramming into him. No wonder Lee countered him. It's so stupid.
And Lee just walks up and does it too. Like, Naruto jumps so early.
Like, Naruto's not trying to run as fast as he is. He just, like, runs forward and jumps and puts his arm in front of him and expects that to work. Like, of course they're underestimating Lee. Again, this isn't to measure Sasuke to weighted Lee or weightless Lee or whatever. It's to do basic analysis to say that both Naruto and Sasuke were underestimating Lee, and that's why they did so poorly, just like everyone else, because that's Lee's whole narrative, basically.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but I think Lee would have won regardless, but...
Well, that's not to say that he wouldn't have won regardless. But, yeah, exactly. Because it's fine to say he would have won regardless. My point with that is to say, I don't think it's necessarily automatically true that Sasuke's body just physically can't keep up with Lee at all. Only his eyes can. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Just because it's ridiculous, that isn't to dismiss it to say it's impossible, but it is to say it's less likely.
What they say.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what they say and what they show. But...
Yeah, regardless if it's true or not, it's ridiculous. That doesn't make it true or not, but at least leads some sort of credence.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So, anyways, getting back to this. Yeah, so I'm just gonna hate Eida if they just make her the worst side character of all time, if that's all they were ever planning to do with her, especially so. Because think about it. Eida's design immediately stood out. Ikimoto confirmed he made their designs intentionally to stand out in that one interview kind of recently. She has weird looking eyes that we found out were the Senrigan. Her very theme song itself that introduces her comes across as something godly. The song is non-diegetic. It's for the audience. It's to present the atmosphere of Eida's character. Her literal introduction is when the song plays. It's like, it's what they want us to think about her. And again, that's the same thing with Kaguya. That's when they start doing those soundtracks. Some god cool soundtracks too, freaking mob soundtracks. The opening literally has her and Damon alongside the Otsutsuki. Do the unbiased animators have an agenda now? It's like, Eida started in some kind of eternal slumber. Her pod exploded open when she woke up. Oh, but Oodie, it's code, they clawed it. See, I wrote it intentionally this way just to make you mad, but it doesn't change the fact that that's what happened. It happens in Dragon Ball as well. So that's I think
why I didn't say anything about it.
I do think it is a reference to Dragon Ball, though.
Stuff for the reasons that you're saying.
I know, but like, especially if they're doing the Android 1718 thing with Perfect Cell, especially since Jura looks like Perfect Cell, that's another reason to think that he's going to be the one to devour him, especially since he's the final villain of the arc. But that's how Android 17 and 18 are awoken in the first place. They're in a stasis chamber just like Eida, looks pretty much the exact same as well, and just like Eida, when they're awoken, the pod just explode open from their sheer power. It's like the exact same thing. So I do think it is a reference to that, regardless of code. But the mere fact she was awoken from her stasis chamber sleeping pod and the visual aesthetic around that whole thing in the first place, ... Her supposed Moon Clan design choices Kamui made a video on And also the fact that she introduced herself to Code/the audience by being untouchable and unconcerned with Code's serious and deadly and threatening presence, just for something that's so insignificant, like vanity. It's similar to like Kaguya walking by Sakura as if she was never there in the first place. Because again, Code at this point is like the next antagonist. He's the big bad guy. He's the Jigen figure, basically. He's Jigen's replacement. And the fact that Eida's just walking by him like he's nothing is crazy. So this tells us a lot about her. And then she also is like drinking with the cool demeanor that we were talking about earlier, and the mind games on top of that. She's hiding Damon's powers from Code. We talked about that. And we suspect Amado's daughter, Lore, from Konoha. We talked about that. Even in Two Blue Vortex, she doesn't age, which is weird. We talked about that. So is this the point of Eida, considering she has a prime supreme focus on her essential divinity level of importance in the entire latter half of Naruto Next Generations? Or was she retconned and or miscommunicated? See, that'd be the worst part. I would prefer if she was retconned than if she was just miscommunicated. Because if it is this, then we were just wrong.
It can't be, though, because it wasn't a Kodachi plot point. It's Ikimoto to Ikimoto, so there's no communication.
Miscommunicated from Ikimoto to the audience. Which just makes Ikimoto worse. Just makes it worse. It's essentially the reverse of don't judge a book by its cover. Remember Naruto versus Kiba, or like every single other fight, where it was an uphill battle because Naruto was the loser, talentless, hyperactive, knuckleheaded goofball, unserious, bottom-of-the-class clown? The underdog. But don't underestimate him. He proved himself. Yeah, this is the opposite. Eida is the overdog. Don't overestimate her, apparently. But the TLDR is, if the point of Eida's character is to take away from her character, to make the character presented as complex, to actually be simple, don't do it by taking away from her. Eida isn't doing that character arc right in the first place. Mob did it right in Mob Psycho 100. Mob is the best anime #1 of all time, not Eida. So embracing her true self would be embarrassing her. Oh, by the way, that's to say that Mob did this character arc right, and that's to say if Eida's doing this character arc, she's doing it wrong, and I would point to Mob from Mob Psycho as the example of doing this right. So I also just don't think she's doing this. But if she is doing it, she's doing it wrong. Anyways, embracing, quote-unquote, her true self would be embracing her complexity, not rejecting it for the simple stuff, which, by the way, she already is doing. She's been doing that basically from the very beginning. So it would include both, which she already had, instead of shedding her complexity, which I would prefer if she shed her humanity than her complexity, anything. But let her keep both and grow and develop on top of that, instead of revert as a character, or have her figure it out and then immediately kill her off. That would also be bad, because this is like the beginning. It's like Sakura, episode 3. Oh, I guess I am being mean to Naruto. And then she dies in episode 4. Is that really what we want from Sakura's character? Apparently the audience would want it, but I don't want it. It's like the exact same idea. If her only purpose in the story is to just have use omnipotence, then she isn't a character. And she was changed into never truly having been one in the first place. Because I'm sure you and I would agree, she was a character, at the very least. Regardless of if she is now, or if she will be in the future. She was, originally. And if she's going to be discarded because she's already fulfilled her purpose of using omnipotence, then I don't think she was a character. Doing this kneecaps the character by taking away their character. And telling the audience she never actually had it in the first place. It can be a good thing to trick the audience correctly, but this isn't that. This is insulting the audience. Eida is the biggest false gun. That's it? That's all? Eida doesn't change in this case. She was always at the end point the entire time. She's just another silly girl. I don't care about Kohada as much as I do Eida as a character. And you know who Kohada is.
Exactly.
My claim / point is that if you think Eida's character arc is to just be happy or normal because of the layers they stepped away, that might be a typo, I don't know. And you're okay with that or want that and don't need more, then you're the problem. And if that isn't all they're going for, then you acknowledge the problem. We should get here by adding to her character, not by taking it away. Because it doesn't work like that. Especially for a character like Eida, who's been propped up since the very beginning as something more than. In other words, if you predict that's the direction that they're headed in, because that's the direction they've seemingly gone in, you better hope you're right. Because otherwise, it's beyond just bad. Thoughts?
Well, even then, there would still be bad elements, even if we are right.
I know, but
I mean, my best thing for Eida that I'm just praying for is the. Now, we're not going to get into my topic, but the whole Eida theory with Shikamaru and omnipotence and all that, like, that's going to be my saving grace for Eida. It's just if that's true. If it's just not true, then I just lost everything. With her.
Yeah. I was trying to just get that all said out there just to have it all done instead of segueing a billion different times. Is there anything from that long tangent that I started bringing all the way over here?
Whatever I responded with, because I knew it when we got to it.
Okay.
The middle part is what cements it. Embracing her true self is a good character idea, but you have to include both parts. It's the same as what we said about Boruto, I think is what I meant to say. Boruto is Otsutsuki now, even if it makes no sense. But when he asserts that he's a ninja, that's good. But it can't be a case of him rejecting his Otsutsuki-ness, or else he isn't actually embracing himself fully. Kawaki is saying Boruto is only Otsutsuki, whereas Boruto should be saying he's both Otsutsuki and ninja. Because conversely, when Kawaki says he's only Otsutsuki and not ninja, if Boruto's saying he's only ninja, not Otsutsuki, neither of them are being right. They're both just being wrong on the opposite side of the coin, instead of being both sides of the coin like they should be.
Yeah.
Eida should do the same. She's both a borderline goddess and just a regular girl. Or perhaps another way to put it should be, even gods are just ordinary people, which could explain how Momoshiki and Ishiki, when pushed to the edge, drop that false superiority god complex and stoop down to a childish temper tantrum. Even the Otsutsuki are just ordinary people at their core. Something like that can work, but that doesn't mean they don't have all of their Otsutsuki alien stuff about them. That still is a part of them in their identities.
And that sounds very, very similar to what we were saying above, right here. Even gods are just ordinary people. That sounds very similar, but it's very, very different from what I was saying above, of what a lot of people are saying her character arc is going to be, of like, oh, I wasn't actually this all along. I'm just a normal girl, and I accept that.
Reason that is different.
Exactly. Because it is to say it's both. It's to say that Eida is a god, and she knows it. But despite being a god, even then, she's an ordinary person.
It's to say that all gods in this universe, at their core, are the same as you, as everyone else. Just because they have god powers, they still are the same in many ways, would be the thing there.
Yeah, and that'd be like what Zabuza said. Are you surprised? Even I'm human. All shinobi are. Even as much.
Shinobi human. You know, it's the same idea. Even gods are human. No matter how hard Momoshiki tries to escape that fact, he always fails. Or at least Ishiki, you know, like...
Yeah, like Zabuza wasn't saying, Naruto, you're right. I'm not a ninja. I never was. I'm human. That's not what he says.
Exactly. Like, he's saying... I mean, but fundamentally, this actually does work as a follow-up theme, because they're thinking of what it means to be a shinobi in Boruto. That this right here actually works as an expansion of that theme. It fits the current Boruto story. It fits the previous Boruto. It fits all of the Boruto story in relation to not just Naruto, but Boruto itself with their what it means to be a ninja theme. This works. It's just expand. It's the same thing, but it works for them to continue to do it. And I do think they should do it, because what we've witnessed from Momoshiki and Ishiki pretty much prove it to be true anyway.
Exactly.
And so And then if Baruch is going to do the I'm still a ninja, what is he saying? I'm still a human. What are Otsutsuki? Still human. There you go. You know, but it doesn't erase everything else Eida has. It's to say that even shinobi are human, even Otsutsuki are human, even gods are human. They're all human, whether they have god powers or not.
Yeah, even the most shinobi of shinobi, rooted in the darkest, deepest edges of the shinobi world, like Itachi or Danzo or Hashirama. You're gonna hate me for saying.
Basically, even Shibai is human. You know.
Yeah, the most tooly of tools of ninja, even they're human. And the fact that it's not because they're literally humans, it's because they have humanity. And the Otsutsukis, who literally aren't human,
they try to escape that fact, they always fail. You know?
Exactly. Even these things, these aliens that are literally not human, they have humanity. They have the exact same thing as we do, because what is humanity? It's the sentimentality of emotions and the core of their spirit and blah, 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 all that.
Exactly, and that's why it's going to boil down to the same for Jura and Hinari and all of them.
Well, that's also why. That's also why Naruto versus Momoshiki is like a double layered in meaning. It's not just the ideology of ninja way versus sheer power, physical power of the Otsutsuki, because Momoshiki isn't just like a mindless Ten Tails. He does, just like Naruto, have his own ideology.
Yes. And it says it's just free. But
yeah. So it's like both.
Not really human.
But I would love this, especially since it connects Naruto to Boruto, considering this would obviously apply to Kaguya as well, even retroactively. And Kaguya isn't a part of Boruto, she is a part of Naruto. So even Kaguya was human, and that gets to the infamous Kaguya lore that we've been begging for a decade.
Well, they can actually use her as the example.
Exactly. Would be perfect.
I mean, when I wrote that, I was like, I actually hope they do this.
Yeah. I mean, obviously in Naruto, they already have literal beings that aren't human outside of Kaguya. They have Kisame, which turned into a shark. They have Kakuzu, which literally has other people's hearts and like a weird octopus body. They have Sasori, who literally gave up everything but his heart. He discarded his human body to be a puppet. So it's like they already have this concept with a lot of different characters. It just applies. It just works. Just an extension on the very same thing. Just developing it further.
It also works good for something like Kawaki if he gets more ninja techy enhancements, or just changes who he is as a person, somewhat like with his Otsutsuki-ness and stuff. Like it works.
Exactly.
I do think it's a very good thing for them to do. And I'm not saying they haven't done it to some extent, but it's like it's basically the land of ways for Naruto. Like they should just do that.
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to address here isn't about Eida. It was just a quick comment, just because I think it's funny. It's me agreeing with you. Boruto is Otsutsuki now, even if it makes no sense. It makes no sense, and that's not a problem, except it is a problem. There's plenty of plot-related things in Naruto that make no sense that we easily overlook because we're immersed, because the story's good, so it's forgivable. But the Boruto story isn't good, so it's so easy and obvious to point and look at all of these plot problems that are ridiculous and make no sense and call them as problems. They're problematic, regardless of their problems. Not only that, the fact that they literally tie into the story. Boruto being Otsutsuki matters because Kawaki wants to kill him because he's Otsutsuki, and that is the story. So Boruto being Otsutsuki making no sense means the story isn't just bad, it makes no sense, and that's the biggest problem. Unlike Naruto.
One of the Naruto ones that we point out, for example, Hisashi's Edo Tensei curse.
I was going to point to the same thing because of that.
Yeah, because of us. You know, like
So
yeah, that's not changing the dynamic between Naruto and Sasuke and their relationship leading into their conflict and fight and resolution.
It's such a nothing thing that has nothing to do with literally anything.
Exactly.
Like, they don't even do anything with Hisashi anyway. Which you can argue
cares?
But like
at the very most, it technically has to do with Neji's story indirectly, but not really. It doesn't change anything really. If anything, it adds another nuanced layer of detail, or it's a plot hole. Either way, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, like it's not impacting the story because if you actually, I wrote a thing about that based off what Neji says in part 1. No, Hisashi's curse mark faded. All of them fade. It doesn't matter whether they're free. Like literally, oh, they felt free or what. It doesn't matter. The curse mark just fades when they die. Like Neji knew it. He's stating as a fact. He's seen them. Like,
last night, well, I don't know if he has seen it. I don't know if he's stating it as a fact. If it's just told the. Last night, I wasn't off the top of my head remembering the line because I did watch Daigo's video as well today. I wasn't remembering the line of Neji saying to Naruto in the Chunin exams, "When you die, it fades away." So I was forgetting that context. I was thinking maybe it's when they die, maybe it's when they're freed. Either way,
I went to check because what I remembered in the anime was only in my death was my father free of this evil curse mark, and I was to see what the manga says to see can that be interpreted as him he's free because he's dead or because the curse mark fades. And I'm like, no. He's just straight up is just saying it fades. Like,
yeah. Well, again, I watched Daigo's video. He had it in the video, the manga panel.
Yeah, but he didn't talk about that. So he
yeah.
had the panel.
Oh, he did.
I actually wrote a comment about it, but
he did a little bit, but he mostly just recapped what we talked about. He just like brought it up because we talked about it. That's what it. Yeah. Either way, very cool that he did that.
Yeah, no. He hit quick too. He literally must have done it the next day.
I know. Like, how, bro? It's an edited video. It's like, what do you?
He definitely was very passionate about that topic. He also said he wants to do one about the Choji and Michi death thing. So
yeah, I'm excited.
Sure, he'll shout us out again because of that.
Bro, I want Daigo to come back on soon because one of the things that I wanted to start off with that I think I forgot to say, maybe I did say it, I'm forgetting that I said it. Oh, I know. But one of the things I wanted to start off with was that Daigo is using the Makes No Sense title now in like all of his videos.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to talk about it. That's so funny. I love it. I think
we have influenced Daigo and vice versa.
For sure.
I see, like, I don't care what anyone
it's
says.
So
I like Daigo. Do I agree with his over-the-top hate of Kaguya and Boruto? No, I do not hate either of those anywhere near as much as him. I understand his dislikes, but I don't feel as strongly about that.
Well, even then,
like, why do y'all hate him so much? Like the stupid Sarada video that Mob was calling Pano and he's just wrong about.
Oh my god,
y'all are stupid. It's not being sexual. I watched the video. I remember the first time I saw it was when they played it live and was hating. And you know what my thoughts were? This isn't even bad. I was like, I agree with him. It sucks. I made an even meaner video about it. Like, you know,
on the Kaguya
belts. Camp Gab was complaining about the belts. It's not just Daigo.
Camp Gab complains a lot about fashion, a lot more than I ever expected. It's like a manga case.
Literally. So it's like, you know, he's not the only one. Just random average fans. Like, you know.
Yeah. And even though we both seriously do disagree on the Kaguya stuff with him, even then, we can still acknowledge the way he goes about it is unique, creative, clever, and most importantly, funny. I can laugh every time he says that Kaguya and Boruto is filler, because that's inherently hilarious.
You know, it's so over the top. But, you know, it's like, I don't know, like, you guys just need to relax.
I know. It's like,
he does understand the story and have a lot of knowledge of it. Like, it's like, he does know. Like, he's not just being clueless. So it's like, relax, people.
The more time that passes,
he has like 250 subs or whatever, 50,000 subs. Like, you know, he has a lot of subscribers. Clearly, people like him, but like,
exactly.
The people like Jonathan Oliver who go take out whatever he calls him.
The more time that passes and the more haters I see hate Daigo, the more I realize Daigo actually might just be the #1 Chad that I know, like actually. Of all the people I know in real life or not, he might just be the #1 Chad, the most stoic person I know. He just doesn't care. He's just chilling. It just doesn't bother. I love it. It's so good, bro.
I love. The other thing is like every stream we've done with him has been good. We've had no bad stream. The only bad stream with him wasn't because of him. You're a hot boy. Before you ruined it. You know, like it's only been good.
I know. Oh my god.
Like, he is Trippy's
Okay, I think that's a good place to end it
we should
on.
end on that.
Okay. Well, Ikimoto might have failed, but Daigo certainly did not.
So we can say, like, even YouTubers are Daigo. No matter how hard they try to skip, they always fail. Or at least Ikimoto failed.